Hello and welcome, I am Sterling and today we are playing Anno 1800. And as always, we have a lot to do this episode. So sit back, grab a cold one and let's get started. In today's episode, I would like to finish the other half of the population here on Sassenberg. But to keep everyone happy and fed on Sassenberg, we will need Southerly to be running at full capacity. But we do not have enough population to be able to run Southerly at full capacity. Which inevitably, that brings us to Port Arthur. This is where we'll be continuing to build our population of farmers and workforce. So we're just going to continue pushing out the population into this area, which isn't too difficult. I'll just create a blueprint of the city and then just copy and paste. And there we go. So with any luck, hopefully this will be enough population to be able to run Southerly at max capacity, but only time will tell. Now as you see, I've left plenty of room either side of the city, so then I can build farms and things like that to be able to feed this population. Now it's just a matter of going through and slowly creating all the buildings and laying down the roads when I have the materials, and then we'll be able to start turning things on in Southerly. So let's start by building the marketplaces. Done. Now we can start building homes. There we go. That's a nice big chunk to start off with. Now it's just a matter of waiting for more resources to get here, and then we can build another big chunk. Fantastic. We've now got another load of resources being delivered to Port Arthur. So let's upgrade some more buildings. There we go. Done. Now it's back to playing the waiting game. Fantastic. We have another newspaper. Siege is successful. Juicy Island acquired. Lake of blissful calm. I'll post that. Done. So I've been turning on a lot of factories in Southerly. And as you can see, we're down to only having 62 workforce spare. So now we're going to upgrade some of these farmers. Then I'll go back over to Southerly. I'll turn a few more buildings on and I'll rinse and repeat. Fantastic. So I've been going through, turning on everything that requires a farming workforce and a worker workforce. Now I'm up to turning on everything for the artisan workforce. So what that means is we don't have to continue building the rest of the town of Port Arthur at this point because we have enough workforce and farmers to work Southerly. So that's great. I'm not going to go deleting it or anything like that at the moment because I might need to build this later for whatever other purpose. But for the minute, we're done here. Now it's time for me to start building up the artisan workforce and the engineering workforce here on Sassenberg. So that's what I'm going to start doing now. That's the first lot done. So I've been turning on the buildings here in Southerly, as you know. And we've run into our first problem. We're running low on steel. I've gone through and had a look and we're not lacking iron ore. In fact, we've got plenty of it. What we are lacking is coal. We're also bringing coal from Woolsford and we're mining coal directly from Southerly itself. And with all this, it is still not enough. So we're going to need to start mining it also from Port Arthur. Here at Port Arthur, there's 3 coal deposits. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to mine it here and ship it straight over. And hopefully, for the minute, solve our problems. And there we go. Now I'm in the process of building another ship on Southerly. Once that's completed, I'll create a trade route, add the ship to the trade route, and then hopefully we'll be golden. And there we go. We're now transporting coal from Port Arthur to Southerly. Hopefully now that fixes that problem. But that brings us to our next problem. We're not getting enough cotton fabric to make fur coats. Over here in the New World, we have 7 cotton plantations and we have 5 cotton mills. Now that might seem like a lot, but after doing some math, I've worked out we need 13 cotton mills and a whopping 26 cotton plantations. So the reason why we're missing cotton in Cape Tuani is because we have nowhere near enough plantations. But if we build 26 cotton plantations, that's a huge workforce we're going to need. So I think things are going to get a little difficult here in the New World for a little while now, because I don't think we've got the room here to be building a massive population to be able to farm all these lands. So I think our first job will be to build the rest of these homes here and then work out where our population lands. Then I can decide our next step. So now I've built the homes, we're just going to sit back and see where it all levels out and work out what more we're going to need. So I've been looking around and sort of planning a few things out. And I've decided what I'm going to do is start pushing production to the edges of the map. That way I can really utilize this central part for the town. So what we're going to do is, knowing that I need at least 26 of these cotton plantations, I'm going to start building them up here. And I'll just build them all the way down here. Then I'm going to group our cotton mills together as well, just so then I can have a quick visual reference and go, that's how many we've got. Because we're going to need a lot more coffee plantations, because once again, Sassenberg is screaming for coffee. Then rum will probably be an issue at some point, not to mention the amount of stuff we actually need for the residents here in New Cairns. So we really do need to start pushing things out. But at the moment, I'm just waiting on our resources. I built another ship and I added it to the trade route that goes from Southerly to New Cairns, bringing building materials. So now we've got 3 ships bringing building materials up here to New Cairns. Hopefully that's enough now to start really pushing the limits up here. So having a quick look back here in Southerly, looks like those coal mines we built in Port Arthur did the trick. We're not lacking steel anymore. That's fantastic. Now I've just paused all the workforces that require artisan level workers. And good news is we've got plenty to spare. So now we're up to building all the engineer tier. So we're starting to really get through and we've got plenty of workforce to spare. I don't know what I was worried about. Now that I've got some more timber here in New Cairns, I can start building the cotton plantations. First though, I'm going to move these ones. And there we go. I've moved all the cotton plantations from over here to here. Now it's time to add the rest. And there we go. That's all the cotton plantations in. Now it's time to start putting in the cotton mills. We'll need 13 cotton mills. But as you can see, we've run out of timber, so I'm waiting for our next delivery. And And there we go. That's all the cotton mills now built. I'm not 100% convinced that that's where all the cotton mills will end up, but for the minute, that will do the job. I'm definitely convinced that that's where the cotton plantation should be. That looks awesome. I love that. Over here, I'm going to do something similar. I really like the plantations just climbing up like that. And it looks like after building all that, we're still good for population. Now, we do have a bit of a problem going on that we are lacking. We're lacking ponchos and we're lacking fried plantations. Now, this ain't great, but for the minute, it's not the end of the world. I can deal with this as we go along. We now have a new problem here on Southerly. We've now run out of iron ore. But that's not a problem. I'll have to mine it from somewhere else. I'm already mining the only iron ore deposit here on Norton Bay, and I'm also already mining both iron ore deposits here on Woolsford. Once again, that brings me to Port Arthur. There's 3 to choose from. And you guessed it, we're going to mine all 3. Done. And now all you have to do is just add the iron ore to the trade route. Now, here in Southerly, we're missing cowchip to build the bicycles. We need 32 cowchip farms. And as you guessed it, we don't have enough. We've only got 4. So I think I found our farms that we're going to start building on this side. So I'll get straight onto that now. Fantastic, another newspaper. Happiness and light, that's good. Low risk of explosion, that's great. Sea battle captivates the people. Ooh, that's not good. We're going to have to change that. We'll drop a bit of propaganda in there. Published. Fantastic. Now back to doing the farms. And there we go, done. That's all 32 farms now in. Once I get the resources, I'll upgrade them and we should be right. Now we're on to our next problem. As you can see, we're running out of coffee. Now, that doesn't seem like such a big problem. Just build more plantations. When you come here to the New World and have a look, we've already got 6 coffee plantations and we have 3 coffee roasters. But to feed our population back in Sassenberg, we're actually going to need 29 coffee roasters and 58 coffee plantations. That is huge. The population we have at the moment is not even going to come close to covering that. There's also the matter of where on earth are we actually going to stick all that? That is ridiculous. So I guess that's my next chore now. Having a look at it, I reckon it's going to take up a massive chunk of the island. Though I think I'm going to start this side here and slowly move down. And there we go. That's the plans for all the coffee. That is enormous. Now I'm going to delete some of these coffee plantations here and a couple of the coffee roasters over here, but I need to work out how many of these I need to keep to feed the actual population here. So I've got to do a little bit of fluffing about, but that should work out all right. So I've had to add some more banana plantations and a couple more alpaca farms just to be able to support the village here. So I've decided that I'm going to need a second population here in the New World. So we're going to use this island here just next door to New Cairns. We're going to name it New Victoria. And so basically now I'll add this to the trade route. I'll start dumping a whole heap of resources here so we can start building. And then I'll start using this here to build population. Done. I've built a couple of commuter piers, one here on New Cairns and one over here on New Victoria. And so now once I start building the population here, they'll automatically start working next door. This is fantastic. I can now start concentrating on New Cairns being a place of just production. Very similar to the way I've got Sutherland and Norton Bay in Cape Tawani. And here we go. I've started planning out the city here in New Victoria. I've got to make a few adjustments, such as over here where the oil is and whatnot. But this will do us for the minute. Have a look at our economies. 49 to 49, us and Artur. That is fantastic. We are just about to surpass him. So in this episode, I set out to build the other half of Sassenberg's population. And how did we go? Yeah, I failed. Yep, failed. A lot took place. I have done a lot. I really have done a lot. But I set out to build the other half of Sassenberg's population, and yeah, didn't quite make it. But we did get a bit in. Look at this. So I am happy with that. But we're starting to have some issues. We can't keep on top of coffee. We cannot keep on top of the coffee. And that's purely because, as I said before, we need 50-something plantations. It's ridiculous. I've planned it out. But the sheer population over in the New World that I'm going to need just to run that joint is mind-boggling. And so I have, yes, started a second island. Here, New Victoria. This here is where the main population of the New World is going to have to be. I am going to have to separate it from New Cairns. I will leave a small population on there for aesthetics because it does look pretty good. But New Victoria is where the population is going to have to be. And it's this island is purely just going to be to run the farms for the coffee. Like, it's funny that we need an entire island for that. But as you see, I have planned out a big chunk of it. A lot more than you saw before. So this is right to go. I've even got some timber. Like, look, hang on. Let's just build a bit of it. There's some population. There's the market. There we go. So I've broke ground. There we go. We've got some population at New Victoria. Woo! You know, so here we go. But have a look. That is just huge. But we're not getting enough coffee beans to run even the small amount of coffee roasters that we've got at the moment. But as I said, I just don't have the population to be running this. So I've got all our stuff paused. Maybe we can unpause a little bit. I was having some issues before. Every time I unpause this, population would waver. And yeah, we were having issues. But oh, look. This looks like it's all right. Like, this might be enough to run some of the coffee roasters. Might be able to get at least a little bit of coffee into Cape Tawani. But I'm not even going to bother looking at the coffee over here until after I've built a significant portion of New Victoria. Because there's just no point. I'm not going to go balancing and playing silly buggers with it. We're just going to go hard into one and hard into the other. But I must admit, I really like having the farms up on the ridges like that. It just adds a little something. It's quite nice. And I'm now more than confident that we've got plenty of population in Port Arthur. Like, look at the amount of excess we have between farmers and the workforce. So all this that I've prepared, unfortunately, I'm probably just going to bulldoze it. I'm in no hurry to do so, so I will just leave it for the minute. But yeah, that's probably going to get used for other things. And that's good. That's good news. Or maybe later on down the track, I might expand Sassenberg's population again. Don't go hold me to that, because let's just finish what we got. But we might then have to expand southerly. And then if we expand southerly, we're going to need a workforce in Port Arthur. But as you see here at southerly, majority of it is running. Woo! Even in the engineering tier, look, we've got a couple of things here and there. We're not building any warships at the moment, so I have got the weapons factory turned off. But other than that, oh, what's up here? Yeah, some glasses, but I didn't see them as dire for the minute. So majority of this is now running. We are lacking iron on a regular basis. I just can't seem to get on top of that. But I will. We'll find a place to nick some iron from somewhere. Surely one of these small little islands like this. Any iron on here? Well, there we go. We could bulldoze all this, make a little mine here, we could have a commuter pier. Suddenly we've got another place to mine iron. So I'm not overly concerned. And we're producing iron ridiculous speeds. Like we're basically dropping iron on every island's doorstep at the moment, all out of southerly. Because southerly is now feeding both the New World and Cape Tuani with all building resources. It's huge. So it's all coming, it all gets fed through southerly, everything. So that's awesome. But unfortunately, this is all the time I have for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.